G'day everyone, and welcome back to Steve's Place Down Under. Today what we're going to try and do is start up this Ford Blitz. Now it's a 1942, they were made for World War II. Only the Commonwealth had them. They made a Chev and a Ford. This one's a Ford 8BA side valve V8 and the Chevs were a 216 6-cylinder. I have never had this going. I've had it for roughly 4 or 5 years. And the bloke I got it off, he bought it as a package with some other stuff and he'd never had it going either, and he said it sat around for decades before he got it. It is locked up, so what we'll do, I'll do an introduction to it, how we got it, and then I've got the forklift behind us here and we'll push it up to the workshop where the tools are and we'll drain the oil, take the plugs out and see if we can get it going. The backstory to how I got this, I woke up one Saturday morning about 4 years ago. I usually shit the bed. I get up fairly early and I walked out to the kitchen, put the kettle on, I was going to stir a cup of coffee up, and I started looking at Marketplace, and I was always after it. I'd never had a side valve V8 and I wanted one, and I happened to come across this for $800 or whatever it was, and it was only 45 minutes away. Anyway, I was that excited. I put the cup of coffee together and I ran over the shed and got the Kenworth going and backed it under the float, and I went over to my wife and woke her up and said, we're going out. Anyway, an hour and a half later, she came out of the house and like a bit of lippy and that on, handbag. And she walked over to the car and I wasn't there. And she looked over the shed and here's the old Kenworth bumping over. She's idling over and she walked over, Steve, why is the truck running? No, I thought we'd take this instead of the car. Anyway, an hour later we get to our destination. It wasn't sort of where she thought we were going, and she didn't get out of that truck until we got back home. So anyway, she said yes, and she's still here all these years later. So what we're going to do now, we'll do a quick walk around it and then we'll take her up the shed and see if we can get her to go. So just for those people quickly, she is actually here. She was filming that. So here she is. So CMP means Canadian Military Pattern. As I said, they're the same cab. They made like a monkey Blitz too, which are a different shape altogether, but they're still the same driveline. Way to tell a Ford apart is the diffs are two-piece from the outside. I mean, I'm not right into these things. There's obviously blokes that are and can tell you different. The diffs are two-piece and Chevs aren't. It's, you know, looking at it from a distance, they look identical until you look in the cab and see the old side basher in her, or the 216. I think they call them a stove bolt engine in America. I'm not exactly sure why. This one's missing a door. She's got the military style wheels on it, so it would not have had those. You can see they're a different colour. Those are military. When they were in the bush, my family, both sides used these in the bush, and they used to have like just a bud wheel on the front and jewels on the back. I'll show you inside of her. So there she is, the old 8BA. I have noticed it's got an aluminium head on one side and a cast iron one on the other. When I did the series on the D, well, it's only one episode I think, on the D line into the red one, I had a concoction mixed up with acetone and ATF, and I actually walked over here, for those of you who remember, and I put some in this. Whether that's helped, I would say so, but we're going to get her up the shed where I've got some more equipment and we'll see if she can spin over. I used to tractor pull the other Chev one that I've got. It really went well. I had a concrete block on the back, and it used to, where the tractors had, it used to, where like a Super 90 or something like that, Chamberlain would spin the wheels, this thing would go through and level it out. Not this particular one, but the one up the bush, and I'll show you that later. You can see the old transfer case in it, so they are four-wheel drive. A lot of countries never saw these. Countries that did, they went into doing other jobs. So my family used to use them both sides, as I said, for carting. We had sawmills and they used to supply pit props for holding underground mine roofs up. So they'd take these old girls into the bush and then they'd load them up or snig logs out with them and then up to a truck waiting on the road somewhere, a truck that would cart them back to the sawmill or deliver them to the mines. And I've actually still got one of those up the shed. This one probably never did that, maybe it did. The blokes that couldn't afford a tractor would get hold of a second-hand one of these and they'd pull just as good if you had the weight on them. So I brought the compressor. I think I'd like to wheelbarrow it up from the back with the forklift and then push the front end of it into the shed, but I'll pump these tyres up, try and spin the wheel straight, and there's some rope in there, I might tie the wheel straight and we'll walk her up from the back because there's nothing really back there you can hurt. If I put the tines under the front, I'd worry about the sump or the radiator or something like that, even though she's up higher. Okay, so I brought this little compressor because if I brought the old Mitsubishi, my missus didn't want to drive it and I wanted to bring the forklift, so she brought the golf cart and that little 12-volt compressor. But that works really, really well. A couple of minutes that tyre will be up and we'll do the other ones off camera. She also brought something else which brought a packed lunch. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I've got a rope tied this side and then I'll go across and pull that steering wheel around to the other side and lock that steering. And the gear stick is extremely tight, so if it's locked in four-wheel drive and it's in gear, I basically just want to get my wife to film that crankshaft and see if it's, I mean, it may free up if I move it, but I don't want that to spin while I'm pulling it. Hopefully it's in neutral, but I'm not sure where that gear stick is. she's in the shed, the old girl. Now we're going to knock the plugs out of it, take that rope off the steering wheel and probably drain the oil because I've had acetone and ATF in the cylinders, and any of those cylinders that weren't locked probably seep past those rings and in the sump now. So we'll drop her out. I haven't got the correct grade of oil, but we're not going to do too much with her either. We'll put that in, it's going to be fine to start it, and hopefully she does start. What are you doing? This is magnificent, isn't it? They'll still hand tight, the old plugs in her. Something I didn't have noticed before. Look at the old coiler here. I don't know whether to bloody use that. Like she's missing a lead down to the crab. But I don't know whether I've got a couple out here. I'll show you now. I just got a 12 volt one laying in the valley. The 6 volt starter will handle a 12 volt battery, but a 12 volt coil won't for too long. So a couple of old girls here, they run like a clock. But this one here, I've just sort of set a GT40 in the valley every time I start her up. This one here, it's still on there, yeah. Yeah, that's a 12 volt coil on that through a ballast resistor. So I might do the same on this old girl here, so I don't burn anything out. And I don't want to back feeding into the dash because this would have been 6 volt. And she's even got the position for a crank handle in her. Not too sure I'd like to hang off that on a cold morning trying to get her to go. It's a bit dark this side because of the sunlight out the other side, but I might sort of focus our attention on the other side, pull the plugs out, and then we'll get something on her and see if she spins. Okay, there she is. Oh, we need to get something on the front of her, or even put a battery in it, find where the leads are, and we'll just give her a tap off a 12 volt battery, just keep giving her a bump. But I don't really know how to start this because I doubt these will work, but with the Chev, she's got a lever there. And it just pushes the solenoid straight in. It engages the starter, then crosses the terminals, and away she goes. But this old girl, the Ford starter's different. Oh, hang on, under here. Looks like a ponytail or something. Anyway, it goes to the right destination. We might just sit a battery in there and see if we can get her bumping over. I don't know where the solenoid is though. There's going to be something to cross some terminals. Would it be that? Probably. No, that's not up in there. She looks to be on the radiator side of the footwell. Yeah, I don't know. I'd reckon it was, because there's an earth there that probably went to it. Would that be a dipper switch for the headlights? I don't know. These old girls have high beam. So you got an earth there coming straight up the inlet manifold bolt. I'm going to do some investigation. I'll bring this back in. Okay, I'm underneath her. I've got a pair of Stilsons on the front of the crank. There's a fairly deep nut there I can grab onto. So this stuff's been in it now for, I don't know, 3 months, if that. And she was locked fairly solid. I didn't try too hard, but yeah, I couldn't get it to spin with just a normal 12-inch shifter on the front of it. And they're not a high compression engine, so let's see if we can. She's tight. Oh, I think she's going. No, she's still tight. Oh, sound like she moved. That wasn't the engine squeaking, that's the Stilsons on the cross member. It's over there, it's tightening that nut up. Oh no, the pulley's moving. The pulley's actually moving. This is big news. I mean, it's not easy, but it's not solid either. Okay, so that piston's coming up, everyone. That's pushing the... If you walk around there and look through that door, you should see it coming out of one of those plug holes. Is it? Yeah. Okay, I'll try and spin it more. Just have a watch. Yeah. Okay. It's not easy, but it's moving. Okay, everyone, what I just did, now it got tight. I just pulled back on the crank. I don't like doing that because it'll undo this nut. It's a right-hand thread nut. I looked back and that tail shaft's moving. So what I thought was actually locked in neutral, it's locked in gear, so that where it was easy, it started to load up because it's trying to drive the truck and run me over. So I think what we've got to do first is pop the top off that transmission and neutralise it. We're going to take this gear stick cover off so we can get to the top of the gearbox. They're all different sizes. She's been pulled apart a lot over the years, I'd imagine. The blokes have just put back in whatever they could find. It's hard to tell what that is. I'm sort of guessing. I can't reach it. Okay, so they're a 1/2 inch head with a 7/16 spanner on the nut. One was a gutter bolt, so it had a square nut on it. I've got one over here, it looks like a 7/16 head, whether it's had some leaves sitting around it or some dust and rotted away, or it's 7/16, I don't know. I'll take it out, then we'll lift that cover off. She's coming off over the handbrake and the main transmission stick. Build the compressor up and blow it all down. Okay, I'm taking off the support for the handbrake. off the side of the transmission lid. I'm trying to hold myself up here and do this at the same time. So the idea here is to get like a lever bar in under the selectors, because this gear stick pivots up here, and there's no mechanical advantage in the height of that tower. So if we can get something a bit stronger straight onto the dog and some lubricant down in there, we'll get her out of gear and see how she actually spins. Looks like a carburetor linkage or something there on the seat. And come across that and we try to get her to go, I reckon. Looks like those top bolts hold on like a clutch inspection cover or something. Oh, there they do, yeah. Yeah, I've certainly seen better than that, but anyway. What's happened is happened. Can't even see any oil in the bottom of it all. I've got to work out sort of what gear she's in. Let's say it's that one there. So I really should pick the back up and relax that rear axle, because it seems like it's, I mean, that's the main shaft out of the back of the engine, but it seems like there's no free play or movement in any of that. I'll get a lever bar and start poking a bit of it and see what happens. Okay, it's getting a bit dark. Outside's not, but in here is. So this gear is locked forward on that shaft. I'm going to try and heat that with my map gas and force it back. I might soak it in something overnight, but we're not going to get it going if that's locked in there. So I haven't got my map gas. I lent that to a bloke through a couple of weeks ago now, and he hasn't brought it back, but this is still going to provide some warmth. This is just butane. I've got to get this to slide back, which will be neutral. Trouble heating it slow like that, it heats the shaft up as well, and it's expanding with the gear, and there's no real result. So it's the following morning. I did work on it last night until the dark. It was just too dark to film. Plus I had nothing to film because it was the same progress I was making earlier. I've got the box into neutral. Completely full of rust it is, but it's now in neutral, but the tail shaft is still turning. So whether there's I don't know whether there's a needle roller seized somewhere, I'm not sure. The engine's free, but it's still trying to drive the truck forward when I turn it by the crank. So I'm just going to have a bit more of a fiddle now that it's a bit more light. Now that I've thought about it a bit more, I filled it with diesel last night. Maybe that's soaked in a bit. It certainly looks in better condition this morning, but it's still trying to drive the tail shaft. I don't want to spend all day on it. I'll have to go and do another startup episode if that's the case, but I'll just spend the next hour on it and see what we can do. Okay, so after further study of how this thing actually works, I've come to the conclusion, I'll just focus is in there, the needle roller coming off the input shaft is seized, and it's trying to spin the output shaft, which is basically direct straight through. It had a bit of movement, but it was like it was binding up either way. So now I've got the bar jammed in there, holding that main shaft with a piece of rope out to the side of her here. The engine seems to be turning its hard, but I am spraying that needle bearing, and it seems to be freeing up. So I hope it's not the engine that's still creating that bit of drag. I just hope it's that bearing. The engine is well lubricated. We will drop the oil out and put some stuff in it. I haven't got the exact grade, but anyway, it'll do to crank it up and flush it out. Stuff I've got in there I'm not using. If I overfill it like I did last night with diesel, I filled it right up to the top. The input and the output seal were leaking. So I can't really soak it in oil. I will fill it, however, so when it's running it may lubricate it all and flush that rust out of there. It must have run down the gear stick through a hole in the roof. There's just no oil in it at all. It's just dust and rust in that transmission. So anyway, I'm not going to haul the hume with this one, but it'd be good to be able to drive it around. So I've now got, focuses in under here. Oh, excuse me, I'm trying to lay down underneath her. I've got the 1/8" socket on the front end of it. I have got a bit of pipe, just give it a bit more leverage. And it's definitely not trying to drive now, and it feels okay. I mean, it's, with the plugs out, I'd probably like it a bit looser, but I think the more I go, the more she's, and I'm not forcing it too hard either, the more I go, the more she's lubricating all those rings. Okay, so what I'll do a bit more of that off camera, then I might drop the oil, fill her up, and then we'll see if that starter works. Then I've got this mongrel crab distributor on the front end of her here. Pretty sure they've got 2 sets of points in them. I'm not going to fiddle with any adjustments, I'm just going to clean them, and hopefully they do the job. Okay, she's spinning really nice now, even just without the extension on the ratchet. In fact, I've spun it that much, I think she's starting to get hot. So what I'm going to do now, I've already loosened that plug off camera. He's going to drop the oil out of it. I'll bring you into that. This is going to be good. Look at the size of this plug. Oh, she's full of water, look at her. I wouldn't be surprised if it's been 50 years since this thing run. The condition it's in isn't great. Then we've got all the valves to attend to as well. Look at this here. These old side valves, even if they're 6 cylinders, they usually, a couple of valve cartridges will seize on them. Wow. Well, there wasn't too much water. It's more the stuff I've tipped into it. Actually, it's like it didn't have its own oil before I did that. Anyway, we'll let that go. I'll make a wire up for the starter because it's got a remote solenoid inside the chassis rail, so I'm just going to make a cable up to run outside that I can just hook a jumper lead to, so I'm not laying underneath it. Okay, the lead up, this is the one off it, and it just arced out, it's just like a dead short. It all seems to be working. I mean, it works on a battery out here, but not when it was in there, so I had another one on the shelf. Just going to swap the lead around the one I made to this and bolt that in quickly and see if it winds it, because I just gave it a tap on the battery before I started filming and it's just sparks is all. I'll quickly swap these around and see what happens. Okay, here I go. We're going to put some oil in it. It's not the right grade, but it's going to work. Stuff that I don't use here. I don't even know where I got it from. So we'll put that in, and before we try the starter's now in. I don't really want to spin it without some sort of oil in it.
Let that run down. Okay, there's no markings on that stick. It's got something driving range, and I think it's a bit above it actually. It's probably very, very close. That'll do her anyhow. Okay, I'm going to set the camera sort of offset because remembering that those plugs, the cylinders have got oil in them still. So I'll just tap the wire on the starter out here and see if she spins. Just watch out, Zachy. Stand aside, mate. Oh, this is looking good. I don't know why she's slowing down like that, but so if you are still watching, thank you. It's taken a lot to get it to this stage. It was pretty late last night trying to sort that transmission out. Then again this morning swapping starters and doing, there's a lot off camera that we don't film for obvious reasons. So thanks for watching. It's just great. So I'm going to get under there now, see what I can do with those points, try and get some spark on it, and we'll have to find a coil somewhere. We'll just sit that on top of the valley there somewhere and run a lead to it. And I might put a separate battery up in there just for the coil. Put a 12 volt coil on it and just see if we can get some spark to some of them leads. And then we'll drizzle a bit down the top of her and see if she fires up. I'm going to try and do a bit of this one-handed so you can see what's going on here. They're a bugger of a spot, these things. Even the ones on the ground are hard to play with when they're not in anything. Okay, it looks like she's got another clip there also. Never be too careful, I suppose. I think this thing sat around a lot longer than what the bloke said. The fan's hitting the bloody cap. It's kind of strange. I don't know why that is. Anyway, the belts aren't on it. I'm not going to put belts on it. I'm going to spin those water pumps with nothing in them. I will still put water in it though. Okay, I'm just going to put this down. I can't do that with one hand. Okay, some of you V8 blokes are probably yelling at me through the TV then. Those spring clips hold on just where the leads go in, and the main cap comes off with that main bracket. I didn't know that. It's different to the other ones over on the side there again. Okay, she looks fairly well in there. I'm going to clean them off camera because there's no way my hand and the camera is going to get up in there. I'll give them a quick file. All we need is one wire coming off it to go up to that coil, and we should have spark. There's my son coming to visit. You underneath her too, are you? Yeah? You're under it like Dad? Yeah? I remember my dad saying when he used to drive these when he was a young bloke in the bush, he said the Chevs were twice the truck. He said the Chevs that you just put your hand over the top of the carby after sitting in the bush for 6 months and she'd start. He said the Fords you're underneath it trying to bloody clean the points, and because they'd get wet in through the grill, storms and that'd blow in and wet the dizzy. He said they were always a mongrel to start. Chevs would just outperform them and everything, but I guess that's experience. Okay, she's all good in there. A bit of corrosion come off those points, but overall it's pretty good. Rotor button's in good order. Inside the cap's in good order. It's been sealed fairly well actually. It's going to get the compressed air and blow the grit out of those points, and then connect a coil up and see if we can get any spark at one of them, well, all of them leads hopefully. I'm just going to bring yours back in, see if I can film that plug without getting Oil all over the camera. That is actually sparking. We're in business here. It's a bit worrying, all this stuff still blowing out of the... what's going on down in there? A bit blowing out of the cylinders. That's going to foul the plug straight up. I might put some compressed air down in there off camera and try and get as much of that out as I can. I'll just show you something over here. I bought my son's got a 24 volt ride-on toy car. And the batteries are always flat, so I bought a couple of things I can convert it to the Milwaukee battery. It's adjustable, so I've got that set at 12.9, which is running that coil there. That's actually working. We just earthed on the manifold. Back to the coil here, and then eliminates the starter, taking away the coil power, basically. Just going to put the plugs into her. 2 of these cylinders are blowing out water, which is a concern, but the radiator's also empty, so I'm not sure if it got down the carburetor through the air cleaner or there is an actual problem. Having a different cylinder head on it's a concern as well. So we'll get it going without any water in it. The water pumps aren't spinning because there's no belt, and that's the reason why the fan's hitting the distributor cap too, because it hasn't just broken a belt, they've actually taken it off. So the fan, to tighten the belt on these, you move the fan, so it's right down in the bottom of the adjustment and hitting the distributor cap. So that's also a good thing, it's not nothing broken there. I'm going to give her a go. So do you think these batteries would be sufficient? They're out of a Caterpillar 988 loader. I think they should spin over a side valve all right. My wife's going to film from the other side while I control it all from out here. The starter's just is this cord hanging out the side. Bit of 2-stroke 25 to 1 there just to lube her up. I'll tip that down the carb. If she fires, then I might, I've got to put those leads on too. I might then hook a fuel supply up and run it for a bit longer. Okay, put a bit down the throat of her and see what happens. It's bound to have a valve stuck. It's bound to do something silly, but first time in how long, I don't know. She's actually coughing out that carby like it has got a stuck valve. A flame come out of there in a minute. Oh, she's trying. This is where I get excited. Let's give that starter a rest. I might just get a bit of ether. I think the ether may be a bit more octane than petrol. Just see if she hits off the aerostart any better than the petrol. Okay, what's happening, it's using that fuel up that I tip in straight away. We're going to have to hook a fuel source up to it. Just unhook that red wire and that'll turn her off. Yep. Okay, I'm just going to take the delivery off from the diaphragm pump here. Someone's rounded it off, so that's why I'm using these vice grips. But I'm just going to sit my boat tank up on the roof and run the hose in through the back window, and it's got a primer bulb as well as it'll gravity once it does start using it. And she's loose there too. It's just like it's someone's used a shifter or a spanner that didn't fit. Okay, I'll go and get the boat tank and we'll be back. I don't know if that's picking that up or not. Now, I don't think she's going to gravity because it's pulling air through that quick release fitting on that tank. And there's steam coming out of there, which means something's overflowing while I'm doing it. So I'll just give it a hit before I put any more in it. See what she does. Let's put that clip on. Okay, we'll give her another go. She's liking that. Come on, darling. Try and clip my starter wire here somewhere. I can put my hand on that throttle pedal. Give the starter a rest. Hey, beautiful. See all the smoke?
Yeah, I see milk now.
Yeah? We'll give her another one, son. Look at it up here, look.
Okay, son.
Is she on fire, or is that just she got bad breath?
Dad, I don't get that fluffy turkey.
Not yet. Here we go again, mate. Oh, I can't even smell it over here. I know, mate. She's not gravity feeding out of this tank, and I don't like it. Look at the oil coming out of the exhaust that I tipped into it. She's going to smoke for a fair while. I think what we're dealing with here, she's not, the needle's not working, I don't think. What that's doing, I don't think the bowl's filling up, it's only what's running over, and like she'd run a lot longer off the bowl. Than that what it is at the moment. Right, I just had the top off that carburetor. Now all the screws are stripped, and there's a funny looking gutter bolt holding the front of it down and one at the back, and the rest are stripped, but it had a blocked vent, so when I was filling the bowl with the boat tank, it was siphoning itself out through the vent straight into the engine. So now I've got a different tank hooked up because that was also drawing air. So I'm going to give it a go now. She's just gravity feeding off another lawnmower tank on the roof. Well, I thought it was.
put some water in it so I can run it for a bit longer. I think she's running on all of them. She sounds pretty healthy. All that smoke is, one, I've got 2-stroke oil in it, and 2, all that oil we've had soaking in it over the last 3 or 4 months. So then once that burns off, I think she'll be quite good. She's pretty responsive off the throttle. With the local RFS here directly putting it out. This isn't going to hurt, don't worry, it's not hot yet. I didn't put this in before because it's bound to have a leak and it just makes a mess everywhere. Running out.
Yeah.
They always do. All the old pipes are rusted out on her. I might get it going and just keep dribbling a bit into her. Bit of heat round them always does them good. You still filming?
Yep.
Loosens everything up. Yeah, these old lines, that's why I didn't do it to start with, because something's bound to be rusted. What's the sparks? Fuel. Bloody wonderful. Okay, everyone, I hope you enjoyed that. I'm certainly excited about it. It's running really well, really well. I'm not going to drive it, however. I don't want to put it in gear and have it race through the shed. I'll probably take it back down the back with the forklift, and maybe I'll get it going down there again one day and I can play this room down there to stuff up. So if in case it does, the gear stick's still a bit tight, but it's pretty good. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you're still watching. What that took me to do, it took most of the weekend. The gearbox was locked up, and so was the engine to start with. So anyway, it's a great result. I wanted to see it run for years, and it puts more content out for you all. So we have got a Chev one up there. I didn't show you, I said I would, but if you want to see it run as well, it's a 6-cylinder, same looking thing, but a 6. Let me know in the comments and I'll get that going too. So if you want to see any more of this, we're going to put some clips and links up in the corner here, and we'll see you on the next one.